Good morning. This is Ron Brown. It's Saturday morning, April 8th, 2023. I'm going to do a short market report here. You're going to see how I look at the markets. And I've added something new today. I started thinking about this. It would be nice to really be able to drop down into the SPX index components for market analysis. So I'll show you what I've done with that. So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. If you want a free 30-day trial of High Growth Stock Investor, just go to the site highgrowthstock.com and you'll see the link to order the trial. No credit cards are required. Okay, I'll go ahead with my standard analysis. This is the way I begin. I open up the designer. I go to my market analysis user groups. I click on folder number 01, Major Markets Plus. And then I click through to the warehouse view. The view that I use for this is under top-down process views for market analysis, top-down analysis, major markets. And I sort on the raw combo, which is percentage price change 1 day. And you can see that there are some ETFs included in this. But I just want to concentrate on the major index. Notice up here, filter use scorecard ETF, and I want to apply that. I just click on this icon over here, and that eliminates everything but what I want to look at. Once again, I'm sorted on raw combo. I can see the utility average is at the top of the list, up 0.8, followed by the Nasdaq. Now, the Nasdaq, as I pointed out in my Friday mailing, that it was a critical day for it. So let's bring up the Nasdaq. This is a chart, just one of my black charts that I like to use. But I'm going to go into my market charts, and I'm going to click on the first one, and we'll start here. Make this full screen, and you can see, if you look over here, this market has still fallen quite a bit, even though it's rallied nicely this year, and it's been chopping around here trying to get past resistance. I'm going to put my crosshair on with alternate C, and you can see that there is resistance right here. Now let's zoom in by hitting alternate 1. How about alternate 2? Gives me this. By that I mean hold your alternate key and click on 2, and you get this nice view here. Okay, I'm going to open a drawing tool and just draw a line from here across to here, and you can see that there is still some overhead resistance. Now I'm going to come down here and draw this. Here is the lowest low before the highest high, and that's how I like to draw my trend lines. And you can see that it was critical right here. This is the way the trend line was drawn on Friday. It was holding. I said it was a critical day. If it breaks down through here and continues down, it could be the end of this. But look what happened. We had buyers step in. It opened here, traded down to here, and then closed near the high of the day on light volume. Consequently, we have a low volume test, and that's very encouraging because volume was light. That means there are very few sellers in there, but there are enough buyers to push that up to near the high. Now, if we go over here and look at the percent range, you can see that it closed at 94.73% of its daily range. And volume was down 24% from the 90-day moving average. You can see that over here. Advancers did lead decliners, and up volume did lead declining volume. New highs, new lows are not showing much here. In fact, the new lows are more than the new highs. But just what's encouraging is this low volume test. Now let's go down to the next chart compared to the S&P, and you can see the blue line did turn up on Friday, which means the Nasdaq did outperform the S&P. Let's go down to the next chart. This one just has the AD line down here. This is 1B, 1C. I put a new chart in here, and it contains the McClellan oscillator. And what this does, it shows the advancing versus declining issues, and you can see overbought and oversold extremes on this. As I zoom out, when the market gets up in this area, it's overbought right here, here, here. Got to an extreme here on this, but it kept going up. But notice as it went up, the advancing versus declining issues based upon the moving averages were going down. I'm going to right click and edit the McClellan indicator, and you can see index breadth indicator computed from the difference. Difference is misspelled, I see, of the 19-day EMA and the 39-day EMA of the difference of advancing and declining issues. So it's two exponential moving averages, the 19 and 39 day, and it's really a good overbought, oversold indicator that's been in use for many, many years. As with any indicator, it doesn't work all the time, but it does a pretty good job of telling us when the market's overbought and oversold. It's not precise, but you get a nice visual on it. You can see that on this rally here, there's still room to the upside. Well, let me put it back here where there are several touches. There's still room here to go before it's considered overbought with this indicator. Okay, I'm going to go down, look at the new high, new lows. You can see the new lows are above the new highs, but they're coming down. And then here is the AD line for the Nasdaq. It was moving up, came down, and it turned up again on Friday. So in my opinion, the biggest takeaways from what I've seen so far is the market, it held with the low volume test, and I'm just going to stick to the Nasdaq rather than looking at the other indexes because I want to move on. Anyway, the low volume test here, there's still room to the upside before we're considered extremely overbought by the McClellan oscillator. The index turned up and outperformed the S&P just slightly on Friday. So I'm not negative on this market yet, but if this reverses and takes out that trend line that I had in here, then I will become much more negative. Now I want to spend the rest of this video showing you something that I put in here. I'm going to get rid of this Nasdaq chart. I'm just going to go back to down to my daily analysis black candle charts, chart number 1. Get rid of the crosshair for now. And I'm going to go into my market analysis user groups, Insider Club members. These are updated every day for you. And I'm going to go down to this level right here, Spider Sector ETFs. I'm going to remove the filter. To remove a filter, you hold the Shift key and click on that, and then it'll show what is in this folder. And there are 11 ETFs, including the SPY, the Spider itself. Now I'm going to click through, and I'm going to go to a different view. I have views for ETF analysis down here, and I'm going to go down to scorecard end of day. So you'll find these under warehouse views, top-down process views for ETF analysis. Just click on the first one, and you can see that the spiders are in here, and the combo sort is percentage price change 1 day, and the filter is applied, but you can always double click to make sure a filter is applied. Now, communication sector Spider was up the most at 1.3, followed by utilities, and then technology, and so on. But what I decided to do is, rather than just looking at this, I decided to that it would be nice for HCSI users and Insider Club members to be able to look inside of these. So I'm going to go back here and look at this and show you the structure. So it's folder number 7. I'm in this folder right here. What I did is I added the indexes below these so we could quickly drop down and see which stocks make up these spider sectors. And this information is all in HGSI. If you go to the component list, click on ETFs. Let's see if this will work. SPDR. I do a search and you can see that all of these spider indexes or SPDR indexes are in here. Now I just took the primary ones, but any of these can be used, and I may do something with these in the future to make them a little more accessible. But for example, the Spider Biotech ETF is right here. Here's a retail ETF. There's all kinds of them. Just come in here and look and see, and you can access these directly. Like I said, I'm just using the primary ones right now, but that may change. So let's go back to this. Once again, I'm going to clear that out of there. Where I am is in folder number 7. Open this up, and there is a subfolder, the SPD sector ETFs. But I'm going to go back to the top one, click through to the warehouse, and it's a scorecard end of day ETFs. Now if I open this up, I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Just go down, click on the plus, and go to the indexes. You can see the indexes are right below. So I've gone from here to here. That's what I'm looking at right now. And the communication services. Now, these numbers are not going to exactly match what's in the prior folder because I am using a market-weighted index. I got messed up there. And I want to stay on this one right here. So, communication sector is on top. And I put this information in here, advancing issues divided by declining issues, and the percent up and the percent down. And this is sorted on percentage price change one day. But if you want to sort on the advancing issues versus declining issues, you can see the utilities were the strongest group based upon that. 96% were up, almost 97, and 3.3 were down. And then from here, if you want to look, all you do is change to the index group, and we have all of the stocks that are contained in the utilities spider right here in front of us, and then we can do our analysis. Now, when the market is open, which it is not now, here's the intraday. You can just drop down and look at these intraday, and they're going to update automatically. Now I'm going to pause this video and open up Thinkorswim just to show you that. Okay, I updated the intraday quotes, and now I'm going to drop down to the intraday view, which is 1A, and you can see that there's no percentage change here because I'm doing this on Friday, but you can see that the other fields are populated. So this works great on intraday. And you can go back up to this. Let me try that again. It's just easier to go back to the designer. You can look at what these indexes are doing during the day, and then if you want to see which of the stocks within these indexes are driving within these spiders are driving them either up or down, you just go to the indexes. So I'm going to click back to here. This is my end of day. Notice that you can use the intraday right here on the spiders. Also, there, of course, is no updating today, but when the market opens on Monday, give it a try, and these will be updated. And then the way this is going to work is you can just drop down to the ETF indexes folder. These indexes will not be populated here unless you rebuild them in the designer, but that really isn't necessary because the spiders themselves, you're going to get the price out of here, and then the communications sector, for example, it was the top group on Friday, so you just drop down to the indexes, you'll locate the communications if you want to go there, and then you'll just go top down and it will show you what stocks are moving intraday. I'm going to go back to the end of day, and this is what the communication index looked like on Friday at the close. Now I said you can, as the indexes are being updated intraday, you can rebuild these indexes if you want to see the advancing issues versus declining issues. So when the market's open and everything's updating, just come in here and select rebuild indexes in group, and it's going to rebuild these quickly, and then you will have, I'm going to click back through to the warehouse, you will have the advancing issues versus declining issues. And once again, because this is Saturday, we're not going to see this. It's a little bit confusing since the market isn't open today, but I'm going to go back in to my main menu, intraday. I'm going to disable intraday, and now let's see what happens. I'm just doing this on the fly. Rebuild indexes in groups, so I'm rebuilding these indexes. I should have closed the warehouse, it would have gone faster. But you can see that it's working in the background. Okay, and now, because I've disabled intraday, these are the end of day numbers, the advancers versus decliners right here. So just by doing it on the weekend, like I said, it's confusing. This is meant to be done when the market is open, so you can go down into these indexes and see what's driving the market. I'm going to go back to raw combo. Let's go to the communications index. Let's change to the index group. These are the only stocks that are in the group. To make sure, I'm going to click on this and release it, and this releases the filter, and you can see that nothing changed except the index itself is in here. Now I'm going to re-engage the filter. Notice the index leaves, but if you hold your shift key and release the filter, here's the index, and if you're sorted on percentage price change, it's going to show you which of these stocks are outperforming this index and which are underperforming. And then you can bring these other things into play. You can see that Alphabet, the 3 crossed the 6 5 days ago, and the volume point of control went positive 4 days ago. And you can see there was an effort to rise yesterday. So let's just bring this chart up. This is Alphabet. You can see that there was an effort to rise, and there was an effort to rise coming off of this low point right here. Look at these great VPA flags. High volume up bar closing on the high indicates strength effort to rise. If I go down and look at, okay, let's see, what's this one right here. You can see here was the crossover day, which corresponds to this number up here. That's 5 days ago, and that's the same day that these VPA flags were signaling. And notice the group started turning up after that, and here it's a nice run. Now getting back to this, the reason I want to do this is I personally, it's always nice to see what the spiders are doing, but isn't it much nicer to see what's driving these indexes? when we can go right in here and see what, for example, in the technology sector, what's moving. And we know these are all high quality, heavily followed stocks because they make up the spiders. Okay, I'm going to end it right there. It's going to be a little bit confusing until you try it, and especially you have to really use it when the market's open. Just if you have any questions, give it a try on Monday, and you can send me an email, and maybe we'll do an online session and work with this a little bit more. But I'm excited about this because it gives us great insight into what the spiders are doing, what makes up the spiders, which stocks are driving the spiders either up or down. Thanks for listening, and have a good Easter weekend.